Hello everybody, Heath the Vlog Guy here. It is December 4th, the fourth day of the Christmas reading. And I went down today to the library like I said I was going to. And picked up a few books for the readings. A few books that I thought would be fun. And tonight, the first book in that series is going to be The Night Henry Ford Met Santa. Kind of interesting. I thought it would be kind of fun. So without further ado, if I can get the pages to work right, let's go ahead and get started here. Oh, come on. There we go. Alright, so it was a snowy evening 3 weeks before Christmas, 1908, in Detroit, Michigan. Henry Ford was in his workshop admiring his new Model T Ford. Henry thought it was the most beautiful car he had ever seen. He wished that everyone in town could own one of his cars. But each car cost a lot of money to make, and it costed a lot of money to buy. That meant only rich people owned the Model T. Back at the house, Henry's wife, Clara, was in the kitchen making supper. The smell of chicken and dumplings filled the air. Edsel Ford, who was 8 years old, sat at the table, writing a letter. "Dear Santa," he wrote, "I have been a very good boy this year. I would like a train set and some roller skates. I can't think of anything else. Thank you, Edsel Ford." Sorry, these pages are just sticking together, so it's taking a moment or two to get it to go to the next page. "Can we leave Santa some cookies and milk like we did last year?" he asked his mother. "That would be a nice idea," Clara answered. "We can also leave some carrots for the reindeer. They worked very hard pulling all the toys across the sky. Now, son, please put on your coat and boots and go out to the shed and tell Papa to come in for supper." Edsel bundled up and headed for his father's workshop in the shed behind their house. Outside, he could hear the snow crunching under his feet. He could see his breath form puffs of smoke. The moon was big and bright and made the field look like a splash of moonbeams and glitter. Edson gazed up at the big yellow moon, imagining what it must feel like to drive the sleigh across the sky, like Santa. This year, Christmas Eve, Elsa hoped to stay awake long enough to catch a glimpse of Santa and his reindeer flying across the night sky. Edsel opened the door to the shed. "Hello, Papa," he said as he shook the snow off his boots and brushed some snowflakes from his eyelashes. "Mama has dinner ready." "Thank you, son," Henry said as he put on his coat and boots. "Papa, are you going to ask Santa for anything?" Edsel asked as they walked through the deep snow. I don't need presents from Santa, but I could use some advice, said Henry. I need to find a way to make cars cheaper so that ordinary folks won't have to ride around in horses and buggies anymore. It would take a miracle to solve this problem, said Henry. Christmas is about miracles, Papa, exclaimed Edson. Write Santa a letter and ask him if he knows a better and faster way to make the Model T. Anyone who can make millions of toys and deliver them in one night must have some good ideas. After all the dinner dishes were washed, Clara went into the parlor and read the paper, and father and son sat down at the kitchen table. Edson wrote his letter. He took out the line that said, I can't think of anything else. He put in, please help my dad solve his problem. I know you can do it. Henry composed a letter to Santa, too. Here is what he wrote. Santa, my son Edson has arranged me to write you this letter. He thinks you can help me. What I need, Santa, is your advice. How is it that you are able to make millions of toys so quickly up at the North Pole? Can you help me find a faster way to make more cars for less money? Recently, I built an automobile called the Model T Ford. There are many people who would like to own one of my automobiles, but don't have enough money. If I could make the cars more affordable, could get the payment more quickly, families could drive to church on Sunday and then enjoy a picnic afterwards. More farm children could attend school in town. The cost of keeping the car is 4 times less than anyone a horse. I just need many to make the car cost less and make it's hard to read that letter the way he wrote it. The next morning, Henry mailed the 2 letters on his way to his factory in town. Several nights later, everyone in the Ford home was fast asleep. A light snow fell over the city. The only sound in the house was the tick-tock of the grandfather clock in the parlor. In the middle of the night, Henry woke to a noise on the roof. Then he heard a loud thud and a groan coming from the parlor. He got out of bed and went downstairs. Hello, said Santa. What are you doing here? Cried Henry. It's not Christmas. Aren't you Henry Ford? Asked Santa. Well, yes, I am. Didn't you write me a letter saying you need some help? Yes, I did write you a letter. So I have come to help you with your problems, said Santa. Come with me, he said, with a twinkle in his eyes. Santa took Henry up the chimney to a sleigh on the roof. Henry was surprised at how easily it was to get up the chimney. After a smooth ride, they arrived at the North Pole. Henry met Mrs. Claus, who was in charge of feeding the elves. Every day, Mrs. Claus and her helpers made delicious sandwiches and pies and hot cider for every elf to feast on. There were hundreds of elves working in Santa's workshop. Santa greeted every elf and knew each name. The workshop was very clean, bright, and even bigger than Henry's factory. The elves were busy making sure all the children got their toys on their Christmas list. Down the hall was a very big round room. This is the rotunda, Santa said, seated on a long table with dozens of elves making toy trains. Henry noticed something different about the way they were working. Each elf had only one job to do. One elf cut the wood, the elf next to him pounded nails as he put on the sides of the car. The next elf painted the train. The next elf put the wheels on, and so on until the last elf had finished the train car into a beautiful Christmas box for the child's name attached. Henry noticed it took no time at all to make the train car. This gave him an idea. That's it. I'll make my cars the same way the elves make their trains. I'll set up my factory with everyone in a line just like this one. Each worker will do only one task and pass the car along to the next worker. That worker will do one task until it reaches the end and the car will be completely assembled. It will be able to make hundreds of automobiles in half the time. More people will afford to buy my cars because they will cost less to make. As they left the rotunda, Henry saw many boxes. Each one contained a train set for a different child. He noticed one box said to Elsa from Santa. When Santa dropped Henry off at home, the sun was just coming up. The family was still asleep, and Henry decided he would wait until Christmas Day to tell them about his visit to the North Pole. Christmas morning finally arrived. Edson woke up and leaped out of bed. The freshly fallen snow looked like a white velvet blanket. "It's Christmas," he cried. He made such a commotion running down the stairs, his parents woke up too. Edson ran past the kitchen and saw that the cookies and carrots were gone, and the glass of milk was empty. Edson howled with delight as he headed to the parlor. There under the tree were his new roller skates and a brand new train set. It was exactly what he had asked for, complete with hills, trees, barns, and maintenance house. Edson noticed another box near the train. The card on the gift read, "To Henry from Santa, Look, Papa, cried Elsa. Santa brought you a present, too. Henry unwrapped the gift and smiled. There in the box was a miniature Model T Ford. And that was tonight's story. I do hope you all enjoyed. If this is your first time visiting my channel, why don't you hit that subscribe button. Also hit that little bell icon. That will notify you anytime I put out any new content. So until we see each other again, bye-bye.